2025. First item on the agenda is approval of the July 21st, 2025 minutes. There was a copy at the back for public, and the board's been provided a copy. Do you have any additions or corrections? I do not.
So Judy will abstain at this one, on this one, because she wasn't here.
So I would entertain a motion to approve those minutes. I'll second that motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, covers 2-0. Next item. Billing service update.
Yep, so not too much to update at this point. There have been a couple back and forths when they've needed to reach out for additional information to bill a run, something along those lines. But to my knowledge, all of those have been resolved as quickly as they have come in. Our year-to-date net collections are $34,709. So that's where we're at in billing monies received to date.
Is there an amount that's outstanding though that's been billed?
So the total, the gross charges, that's gonna be a little skewed because the gross charges are going to not reflect what's going to be written off.
Right.
The gross year-to-date is $120,917.
And you, just to clarify, that's gross outstanding or gross?
That's gross total.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
So year-to-date, there have been 142 billable trips. Any questions? Judy, do you have any questions? I know this is your first go-round, so feel free to ask anything that you're thinking.
I don't think so yet.
Okay, no, that's fine.
I think we just need to go on record as formally welcoming you and appreciating your willingness to serve.
Jump into the fire. Hi, I'm Judy.
Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Matthew Haskins, Fire Chief.
Chad Robertson, Assistant Chief.
Nice to meet you.
And have you met Nicole
No.
Cox?
Hi,
Judy
Nicole.
Fisher.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. Next item is resolution for PERF establishment.
Yes, so as we had previously discussed at the meetings and as recommended by the Territory Board and voted on by the Township Board, we are going to establish the My Choice PERF Fund. So I have on the table there is a resolution for the board to move forward with that PERF resolution, which I then submit to the state of Indiana to finalize getting that established. Steve, there's also a form there specifically for you as the board chair that would need to be executed by you only. So that details that it's the My Choice plan that we want to adopt, that we are moving forward with paying the 3% of the employee's contribution and the 4% of the employer contribution.
I move adoption of that resolution.
Okay. I have a motion on the floor for adoption of the resolution to establish the PERF retirement system My Choice plan. I'll second that motion. Any further discussion?
No, I had 8 years in pension administration. We discussed this earlier,
Good.
so I understood this.
All right. No other discussion noted. Go ahead and take a vote. Those in favor of that, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, 3-0. I'm going to sign this.
I think I'm so afraid of signing on the incorrect line. Maybe we'll have to wait till.
Your name is noted right there.
I actually had to write Judy's line on there because they only have 2 board positions listed on the state form. I'm not quite sure why that would be, but.
right at the bottom.
And those have been completed.
Must be one of them.
Oh, you got your
Got it.
agenda.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
All right, next item on the agenda is the 2026 budget workshop update.
So I had my meeting with our DLGF representative. We went through all of the proposed budget numbers. So we can move forward with advertising our Form 3 for the public. What I wanted to put out there is this is what our Form 3, hang on, let me slide it over. Pop out. Here we go. Slide it over. This is what the Form 3 is going to look like. It looks skewed at the moment. So these are the budget numbers that we're actually proposing. The state will automatically try to implement the levy at the max rate that we're allowed to do. That's just the way that the state sets it up. We can still go in and modify that levy amount after we've advertised it. And the reason we haven't done it yet, but want to move forward with the advertisement, is because we're hoping that the Marshall County certified net assessed valuation is going to be made public, so we can check our budget numbers against the levy and that certified net assessed valuation. So the hope is that even after we've advertised this, but before we have our adoption hearing, we will be able to go in and check those levy numbers and accurately reflect that on the adopted column before we actually adopt. We can still, if the certified net assessed valuation is still not available at that point in time, we can do that at the end of the year with the, oh gosh, what's the number that they send out? Let me get my mouse back. It's called the,
Pardon?
That's a lot of it's just blank.
oh, come on.
0 for me, okay.
I'll find it. I'm just blanking on what the form number is at the moment. I don't know that any counties have actually certified their net assessed valuations at this point because of all of the Senate Bill 1 changes that have taken effect. They've been given some grace on getting those certified. Marshall County, I think, is historically pretty quick about getting theirs done, so hopefully they will have that done before the adoption hearing.
When's your adoption?
October 9th.
So our next council is the September 8th, and that's a long one. And I think that's the adoption. We've been waiting on
Okay.
stuff from the state.
I think as most everybody is at this point. So hopefully then we'll be able to accurately reflect that on the adoption. But in the meantime, we do still need to advertise the Form 3 because we only have a limited amount of time that we can do that before we actually have the hearing start. So when the public sees this, my fear is that they're going to be a little concerned about the numbers that show on there. But realistically, we're looking to be more along the budget estimate line item and making that match what the adopted levy will be.
So as I look at the general line, the
Mhm.
second line there,
Yes.
and so the difference between 134, 200 and 80,000, is that, I wonder, well, rather than me guess, Could you explain the difference there and what we anticipate for next year?
Sure. So the $80,000 is the maximum that could be collected, and part of that is because we are now splitting that between the general fund and the township assistance fund, where historically we've never applied any kind of a levy. So where we used to be able to collect $92,000 for the general fund, we now have to split that. So some of that we're lacking in there is because we're at our max levy for the general fund. So our number's a little bit high there for next year, but also because we are now splitting with the township assistance fund.
And the 134,200, is that because that's what we anticipate for expenditures next year?
That's what we budgeted
Yeah.
from the general fund, correct?
Thank you.
I'm still looking for that form number. It's always at the end of the year that we get it. Let's see here. I know where I can find it. What questions do you have while I'm looking for that?
What questions?
Yep.
Well, there's nothing for special fire territory equipment replacement.
We did not budget anything out of the equipment replacement fund for next year. There is a line item in there for equipment, we just set that at 0.
Okay,
But there is a chance that we would end up having to do an appropriation
okay,
for that.
okay.
That won't impact the levy in any way. The equipment replacement fund is a set rate, 0.03333, that doesn't fluctuate.
And that's because we're cumbering the ambulance on
Correct.
this year.
Yes.
Okay,
The new chassis.
okay. Okay.
Other questions?
So do we,
The 1782 notice, that's what it is.
Sorry?
The 1782 notice, that would be our last ditch of effort. If the certified net assessed valuation is not available yet and we adopt the budget, we can still correct the levy with the 1782 notice at the end of the year.
so are you looking for action on this?
No, you guys have already moved forward with it. I'm just presenting.
Okay, capital improvements.
So the other item that we discussed during the budget meeting is the proposed capital improvement plan that we need to put forth. It needs to be adopted by September 30th. So we can do that at our meeting on September 24th that we have when we will be presenting the budget. We can also adopt the capital improvement plan. So on the capital improvement plan, okay, I'm gonna be trying to work this way. So here is our main screen that lists North Township, our proposed adoption date I set for that hearing day. And then our rainy day fund and our general fund are the two funds that are included in this, the funds that would be transferred to the road fund. So on the rainy day fund, there is presently, well, and I know I had it filled in there. Oh, no, it's not, because we may be doing an appropriation from the rainy day fund. So currently in the rainy day fund, there is, oh, that's why, Emily. Okay. Nope. Not really wanting to share that with everybody, but that's fine. goodness gracious. Have not adjusted to the 3-screen thing. We have at present $36,030.27 in the rainy day fund. But if we end up needing to do an appropriation because of potential ambulance equipment that will be discussed later in this meeting, or the ambulance chassis when it comes in, those things could be pulled from the rainy day fund. So Kathy, our DLGF representative, in our budget meeting that we had, said that she was going to put in that we would likely be doing an appropriation from our rainy day fund before the end of the year. So that way it would be included in there. That doesn't obligate us to do it in any way, but just that potentially that would be something that we would be exploring. So then
So as you scroll down a little bit, there is that notation in the blue box below, I believe.
yes, which okay, where's my mouse? This is such a pain. There we go.
There you go.
Yes, so I had indicated that in the notes section that we may be doing that appropriation. And then in the general fund, okay, again, you make the slightest movement, it puts me back on my computer screen because I'm right at the edge there. So our estimated cash balance at the end of 2026 is $426,509. Then we have to list out, we have no unrestricted funds. We have to list out all of the capital improvements that we are projecting. The state says you can go as far out into the future as you would like. I projected out until 2028, I believe, because that's what they have for our revenue screen to project 26, 27, and 28. So that's as far as I went with, oh, well, no, I think I did add a 2030 on there, didn't I?
We moved one to 30.
We moved one to 2030.
Thank you.
So I listed on there building improvements because we know that we need to do the living quarters. Okay, so for doing part of that in 26 and another part in 27. From the general fund, purchase of a new fire truck, $200,000, and an additional $200,000 from the equipment replacement fund. And the reason why I am splitting that is because per the interlocal agreement that we signed with the town of LaPaz, any increase that we see in the lit certified chairs have to go towards the betterment of the fire territory. So to spend those monies, I put it towards, and this is, again, this is just a projection. This doesn't obligate us to do anything, but that we would feasibly be using the general fund to pay for part of that purchase. And then also the purchase of a new ambulance. So historically, we had the ambulances on a 5-year rotation for replacement, I believe. We are remounting the 2016. Then that still leaves us with the 2019 ambulance. But I think it's going to be a while before we are ready to pull the trigger on doing anything with that one. So that is why we pushed that to 2030. Figuring at that point, we're gonna have 10, 11 years in that ambulance. So it's probably going to be right in line for needing replaced at that point in time. So I didn't try to exacerbate the numbers in any way. There are several large purchases that we potentially need to be making in the next 5 years.
Do I remember correctly that there's a question about the whole lit shares thing in the future?
Correct. I can't speak to the county and what Marshall County may do. All I know is what our DLGF rep told us during the meeting was that to project not receiving lit shares beginning in 2028.
Beginning in 2028.
Correct.
Lit shares?
So their local income tax.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So, but at present, okay, again, let me find my mouse. There it is. For the revenue, she had indicated to me to use a 2% increase for the things like the CVET and excise tax to try to project that out, which I think is candidly a little ridiculous that the state wants us to project that when that's kind of what they're there for, is to tell us this is what you should expect. But instead, we need to project that. So for 26, I've still got our lit shares on there. And again, that's just an estimate on my part because I have no idea what the lit shares are actually going to be. And again, for 27, I listed them on there. But in 28, I did not. They fell off in 28 per the instruction of our DLGF rep. So you do not see them in 28. The other revenues that I have listed at 100,000 are billing monies. And again, that's an estimate. That number could fluctuate, but this is a plan that we need to adopt every single year. So I think after the first year, we may have a little bit more foresight to know what to look at and how to make those projections. For the, let me see, for the excise tax, the CVET and the FIT. So the federal income tax, excise, beginning in 2026, that is no longer going to be split between funds. So this year you'll see that we've got excise and CVET both in the territory fund and the general fund and the equipment replacement fund. But beginning in 2026, that will no longer be split. We have to designate what fund we want those monies to go into. I advocated for the territory fund. That seems like the most reasonable place to put it to try to keep the levy down. Any additional monies that we can funnel into there, I feel like we should. So that is why you will only see it in the territory line item moving forward from 26 on. I increased, so the property tax for the general, I'm sorry, here we go. For the general fund, I listed at $80,000 in each year because again, we're at that max line. So I felt like that was an adequate number to carry forward. For the territory fund, I began that at $820,000, again, based off of our budget and what we're hoping to do with that next year. And then I increased it by $40,000 in 27 and it by another $40,000 in 28, figuring cost of living adjustments, inflation, things, the cost of everything that continues to rise. But those, again, are not numbers that we're locked into in any way. That was just me attempting to project numbers.
So the lack of guidance by lit shares is gonna make a huge difference on how they would eventually come back, if at all, from the county.
Correct.
So that 820 fire territory in 26 to 860, that's close to 5% increase, is that right?
Yeah,
Not exact, but.
not quite, but
so if we did the 2% increase that we're anticipating, or the DOGF representative said you can anticipate 2%, that under general, if we did 2% there, that'd be.
So she said to anticipate that for the excise and the CVET. She didn't
Well, that's
indicate
not
any,
the
she didn't indicate anything on the property tax line item. I could check back with her on that and see if she has any kind of estimate that she can give me for us to work with.
So the lack of, the future of LIT money that may not come in would force you to increase your maximum request on the levy side.
So it would likely require us to increase the budget
Right. In order to do that.
where right now we're able to
So-
supplement that with the lit
so,
shares.
What we counted on before to help get that through then is taken away in a couple of years.
Yeah.
So then, any tax relief that we hope to see probably will evaporate, and with the money going to the county.
Right.
And then they would have a magic formula on how to redistribute that if they decided to do that.
And every county can handle it differently, so that's,
So the old school of, well, it was divvied out based upon the percentage of your budget, no longer would apply. Because they used to allocate those
it
funds.
used to be based on budget, correct? Now, whether or not that would still be the case or how they would make that
Well, I'm
determination in
just
the
trying to think
future.
what kind of rationale they have as to reallocating those funds, because they are going to redirect it where they see fit, not based upon the needs of the individual townships.
It may stay at the county level because of the hit that the county's taking as well, based on all of the regulation
But then we also
changes.
have the opportunity to fund their roads,
Correct.
okay? So that to me sounds like you could count on your general budget going up dramatically to your maximum levy, just
Right.
because of the way the state now doesn't want the townships handling that money, they want a county to handle it.
Correct.
Okay. I just want to make those points because, whether it's right or wrong, that's what
That's what the
the reality
state,
will
yeah,
be, is that the funding that we as a township counted on to put into our basket between taxes and lit funds and excise tax and things like that, that's a major portion that will be gone. So those other areas will have to carry the burden, or again, we'll be back at your maxed out, so. Okay.
apart from the estimated increase in the property taxes, which again, I'm gonna email our DLGF rep. What other points would you like to see on there? Changes, additions, subtractions?
This is a revenue picture, right?
Correct. You want me to pull a different screen back up?
Well, we have no other sources. So, and other than throwing a dart and hoping that, something
Again.
stays there, as opposed, we don't know.
Yeah. Here are the expenses again that I listed out.
I guess I would point out that we were aware that we were going to benefit from billing. We just didn't know what that was. And so,
And we're still a little hazy on, I think until we really have a full year under our belt, it's, yes.
and so I guess I would express some hope that would help to offset to some degree, offset some of the losses in the OIT fund. Because we didn't formally figure those monies into some of the structured budgetary numbers.
Correct. So any billing monies that we do receive will directly impact the levy.
Right.
So I think it's, yes, we can look at it as it's going to help offset that sum, but at the same time, it's also going to lower the levy and lower the amount that we're bringing in based on that number. So it's, there doesn't,
So you're, if I heard you correctly, you're not looking for formal action or not needing that tonight, but
no, I'd like to have it as solid as possible going into the meeting on the 24th.
I guess what I would, and I don't need it to be a formal motion, but I'd like for us to I know a couple of us are on the Territory Executive Committee, but I'd just like to let them know formally that we're referring this to them for their consideration and would like them to look at this. We're not voting on it at this point in time, but we're expecting them to look at that and give us their thoughts. Is that appropriate?
In my opinion, no.
They've already provided it through their budget or the lack of approval.
So, I mean, it's two different governing bodies coming together to sit on the board, so it would be that would be asking the town of LaPaz to weigh in on the township's capital improvement plan when they've got to do their own.
So I guess what I would like to specify is that we simply need to inform them that these are some of the purchases related to the fire territory.
That the township would be,
Ambulance
sure.
service that we're looking at in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that appropriate?
Yes.
And then I'll ask, so how, are we able to share this? I mean, this is part of the, formally, this would be part of the minutes. I mean, we could share this draft with them.
Yes.
Can we do that?
So all part of the estimated project expense, other than to the building here, would probably be fire and EMS related anyway. And so when they sit down and they schedule their equipment by age and condition and things like that, that should tie in with those numbers on the far right for those future purchases.
Correct.
And I think we already have some of that input, but obviously things change and,
Yeah, originally I pushed the ambulance back 2 years already.
Yeah.
So so the ambulance, this year's kind of weird. I don't know if the trend will continue. I would think the mileage has went down a little because of not running the Lakeville calls, but the North Township LaPaz call volume is pretty inflated this year compared to normal. So it might end up a wash this year, but next year could be a lot less calls. You just never know. Last year we had a low call volume. This year it's significantly higher than normal. So.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
okay, we'll go on to the next item. Trustee update.
Okay, I have a few things. I had a resident reach out to me regarding library cards. She was a little frustrated because North Township is the only township that has to pay anything for their library cards. Each of the other townships, they work with the county and they receive their library cards and have then reciprocity at the county level. So if you go to German Township, well, Bremen has a library, so they're taxed for it, so they get their cards and they have reciprocity in Marshall County. Polk Township has made the decision that they actually will foot the entire cost of its residents' library cards. So she had just expressed that she would like for the township to consider paying the full cost of a library card for its residents. And I told her I would bring it forth. So I did reach out to Polk Township to inquire how they budget for that and what their budget is. I was told that they budget $9,600 towards library cards. And I had said, so if you reach that, do you then do an appropriation, or do you say, I'm just done paying, or do you have some other method? And they indicated that if they reach that $9,600, they would just be done paying for cards for the remainder of the year, and then would start over at the next calendar year. They have apparently not ever hit that $9,600. So our budget is $4,000 that we put in for library cards. So I don't think that this is something that needs immediate action. We've already moved forward with our budget for 2026. That doesn't mean we couldn't change things and do an appropriation next year if you guys opt to make a change. I just wanted to bring it to your attention that this is something on the mind of at least one resident. So. Do you want to have any discussion, or should I just move on to the next thing?
Can you remind me about how much our, I know it's difficult to get figures accurate, or it seems difficult to get accurate figures sometimes, but how, not how much we budget, but how much is spent annually on
So
the program that we have in place right now?
let me look and see. I do not have a recent update from the library, but I can see where we were at the last time they had updated us.
So while you're doing that,
Sure.
I don't know if you have covered this, and tell me if I say this incorrectly, but for some years we would have an agreement with the Plymouth Library such that we would pay them a certain amount of money and they keep track of how much was spent, and over the few years we ended up building up a balance where that, I mean, and so that we didn't have to pay as much or quite that much, and so we're trying to, we don't want to have so much money just sitting down there not being used, so we pulled back a little bit. In no way is it affecting what our patrons are able to access, but I'm thinking it was in the range of 2,000.
I thought the last time we were at like $3,800.
I think that's right, Steve. I'm just trying to verify.
Both Steves gave you a number.
I'm sorry. I think Steve Davenport is closer to accurate on the balance that we were carrying. And what we ended up writing them. So for instance, we budgeted $4,000 for 2025, but we have sent them 3,000. So now they know that if that budget is used up, to reach out, because we'll send them the additional monies that we had budgeted for it. They have not thus far.
Yeah, so I would hope that we would, before we make any decision on that, if we could get numbers from the library on how much township money was utilized, like in the last 3 to 5 years.
Sure.
Per year.
You had handed out to us a list of users
Mm-hmm.
at one point in time. I think it was like 140 or something like that.
Yeah.
134 for the 1 year. And I think it was maybe last year.
I think it was last year.
If we knew how much the township was billed per year, or how much township monies went to, or was being utilized by the library, I'm struggling with how to word that, but, so that we're not confusing 1 year to the next, but if we could get accurate figures from 3 to 5 years back, that
Sure.
would be really helpful to me.
So-
And essentially doubling that would be what we would use per year.
Correct.
And so that would definitely be something that I would really be interested in looking at.
So some historical background on how this all was started was that one of the board members many years ago felt that if there were a group of people with children that wanted to enhance their education, that we should do something as a township to make it available for those families that had children to do that. And that's where we came up with this type plan. There, at the time, was, a significant amount of need in that area, or we thought so, but, sometimes when I look at the list of users, it ended up being a household with no children in it.
Right.
But, I'm not saying that that's bad, but, do you pay for their book fees or something like that for, say, a retired person or something, or what about their internet, or what about their cell phone, or what about, and so that's why we had some limits on that. And at the time, we thought, they had I can't think of her name, was the former librarian director down there, came and made a presentation and to put it all in the tax rolls, but, a lot of the people would say, based upon my assessed valuation, I would have paid $300 or $400 towards that.
Right.
Another person would have paid 60 or something, so that's a little background in some of the, maybe the thought process, but, if someone needed it for an education purpose, I would hope that there would be some way to give those people help. But with the use of the internet anymore, some of that for research projects and things like that is just, minimal anymore. But
Right.
I understand reading is very important, and, I definitely support that.
I want to encourage anybody who wants to read for enjoyment. I also see the other side of it, that if you have some skin in the game, you won't have a lot of people going and getting their library card because, hey, it's completely free, and then not utilizing it. And then you've got, if we've used up the budget and don't feel like we can appropriate additional funds, somebody else who would have used the library card doesn't receive any help. So
At the time, we thought a 50% benefit was actually a good gesture for that, especially with a household with multiple children, that,
Sure.
So it's a 50% pay?
Correct.
Okay,
North Township will cover half of the cost of a library card.
which is how much now?
So at the beginning of the year,
It's 100.
that's what I was thinking, but I was questioning myself on that.
Okay,
And then it goes down each month after
Okay.
that.
Yeah, it's prorated, so if you go in January, it's $100, and then they prorate it as you go down.
And I've got the schedule of proration too.
thank you.
You're welcome. We use it, I can wait till public comment, but our family uses it. And one of the benefits through having a library card is you have access to a thing called Hoopla. And it's an app that you can use, and I have 2 daughters who are dyslexic, so they really like to listen to their books, and it gives us free access to audiobooks through the library. So they utilize that a lot, and we homeschool, and so sometimes we can get the Hoopla book, and so they can read the book and then listen to the story as well. So we utilize it a lot.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
I think last year when we looked at this, that we hadn't come close to using up our money that we had allocated, so.
So in July of last year, $3,200 had been used. But at the beginning of '24, we had also carried several $1,000s into '24.
So I'd like to suggest that in March or thereabouts, a meeting in or surrounding March, that we obtain the figures from the Plymouth Public Library for the last 3 to 5 years, and that we consider at that time how to proceed for the budget in 2027.
Okay.
That, in my mind, that may help take it out of the big budget discussions and everything, and we'll just talk about it at that time.
Sure.
If we need additional information in the next month or so, then we can deal with it then. There's no motion to table, but I just would request that we schedule that for March or thereabouts.
Made a motion? No. Okay. I like the idea.
Looking at it.
Yes.
And so maybe getting back with that individual and inviting that individual to
I did.
come at the March meeting.
I
All right,
did.
good.
She said that she's not one that wants to come
Or she
in
can
public,
send a
but
letter or whatever, that'd be fine.
Just don't email me.
I guess this gets to another thing, and I'll just mention it now, is that I think it would be helpful for us to devote like a month, maybe sometime next year, to discuss our cemetery situation. And by that I mean including maintenance, the fence that we're now required to put around these things, and maybe develop a plan, and so rather than address it when an issue arises or whatever, then just schedule a time to do that. I'm not suggesting a specific time frame, but to look at that.
Did you have to budget for fencing this year?
Well, I don't think we need to, there's no timetable for us to do that, but
Oh,
we've learned
okay.
from the state that we need to have fences around our
all of our cemeteries.
I didn't know there was a timetable or a timeline. Just, they'd like to see it done.
Just every township, apparently, for all of its cemeteries, they're supposed to have fences around
Could it
them.
be 12 inches high? We don't.
I mean,
there's a lot of unanswered questions.
People
right?
were talking about, well, chicken wire or just some of the like plastic snow fencing and things like that. And the State Board of Accounts gave us no guidance, just that this is what the statute says, there's to be fencing.
How many cemeteries do we have to?
We have 3 cemeteries.
I hate to see them done with snow fencing, I'd like to see them done with city.
So, and again, that scheduling that would allow us to get whatever specific input is needed, or that sort of thing.
I was actually,
in the, like specifically talking about White Cemetery and what to do over there.
Yes.
So that, I mean, that's, so encompassing all these things into a good portion of the meeting.
Yep.
Rather than a little bit here, a little bit there, or something like that.
I was actually going to include in my update that Fairmont, where the fence had come down from the tree damage, that the neighbor has put that fence back up.
Sizable.
Yes. So,
It's gotta be 8 foot
yeah,
high?
I haven't actually stopped out there to try to gauge the
70
height, but
foot
from the
tall.
road, you can tell it's quite tall. Okay,
That's for the fence.
it is. Okay, so I've heard from Roger Ecker that the town's accountant has indicated to them that they cannot write off the sewer bill for the fire department. So that was the deal that we reached, was we will allow the town to use the restrooms outside, and in return, the town will cover the $40.80 per month of the sewer bill. And their accountant has said, no, you absolutely cannot do that. They can cut us a check each month for that $40.80, and it would just then be a wash that we would then pay them the $40.80. Mr. Ecker had also indicated, just today, they received confirmation from the state that the money that they had allocated towards the restrooms, they have to send back. So previously it was that they were sitting on the monies, and had to wait because the contract wasn't signed by the deadline. But now they've been told that they do in fact have to send those monies back, which is going to prolong them being able to move forward with a restroom plan. They are, I believe, interested in a long-term agreement for restroom usage with the township. So whether or not you all are interested in entertaining that.
We can get prices and see what the going rate is, right? Hey, toilet.
No, I'm definitely interested in finding a way to cooperate with them.
Right.
And, I mean,
We want the citizens to be able to use it. I think the primary focuses of the agreement would be they continue to send us the check for the $40.80, and we will in turn then pay the sewer bill. But the maintenance and the upkeep would be their responsibility, and the drafting of any kind of an agreement would be at their expense, rather than our attorney drafting something up.
So is that something that they're planning on looking forward in the next year or two?
I think they're going to pursue grants as soon, yeah,
So
because they also have several other projects that I know that they're interested in
probably
moving
would be a
forward on.
long term, it'd be one of them, maybe a year or.
Hopefully, but it may be a year before they obtain the funding, and then they've got to go through the planning and the actual building, so it could be a couple of years. I would foresee it extending past my term, so I'd prefer to have something set up for whoever my successor would be.
but
So they could, if we gave them a bill for the use of the restrooms, then they could pay that on a monthly basis.
Correct.
So then that's really all we need to do. But if we need an agreement, which we have in the public meeting, that they agreed to pay for the maintenance and upkeep of that, if that would suffice, if not, we could probably draft something like that up.
And you would rather the township draft that up than they draft that?
See if that would suffice, and then make it for a year, and then that give them a chance to pursue whatever they're planning to do. And I think they would probably put it on the other side, over by the courts and the picnic area.
I would think so, yeah.
There's still a tap in the well from the old community building, so there's sewer access
Okay.
there.
Okay.
And I did ask Roger about if we do something with living quarters, if it's an extra building, does that change our sewer situation here? And he didn't think so. He said that it could either be used to that, or if it all had to be changed, then it could be just done as one, but it would still just be one sewer for the township, for the fire department.
I guess I would only point out that I believe it's beneficial for the restrooms to be utilized and maintained. And to that extent, it's beneficial to the township for those things to be happening as differentiated from simply being locked up as it has been for a while. And so my hope is that whatever arrangement we come to is a zero net cost and zero net revenue, basically, that
Oh, yeah.
we're helping each other out, and that it's beneficial for both parties. So I think quite attention, so you're wanting us to.
Well, I think if it's ours and they want to use it, we should bill them on a monthly basis for the amount of the sewer that they don't want to just exchange for us, which they said that they would pay. Okay, so if their accountant most likely would say, well, here's a bill for the use of that building.
Right.
I would think that they would pay that. And if it's a net zero, I mean, that's fine. I think there again, we're just cooperating with each other. You know, we just wanted, because of the use of the building and stuff, to have the sewer taken care of.
Mhm.
That was all we asked.
Mhm.
So,
And so, I just want to follow up question.
yeah.
So beginning either October 1 or November 1, it's locked for the winter and water shut down. Do they need to continue paying?
What's the term of the lease? See, we have to write that in the lease.
Yeah.
So if they want to use it for a year, then it's $40 times 12 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they would continue to charge us for sewer, probably, yeah, so, okay.
Any
I'm
person
just
that has
clarifying that.
that has a vacant lot in LaPaz still has to pay a sewer bill every month,
Every month,
whether it's used or not.
it's a set amount.
All right. Okay.
Okay. I'm also going to be scheduling a territory meeting, which two of you know, to discuss ambulance equipment. So the hope was that we might have had the territory meeting ahead of this meeting so that you guys could move on that. Unfortunately, the schedule just did not work out to do that. So there is a settlement pending with the ambulance service and Union Township. Nothing is finalized yet. But I think that there is a possibility that we will need to be moving to replace equipment, all equipment on one ambulance in the near future. So that is all of the medical equipment that is on there. So bandages and medicines and the heart monitor and the cot and the load system and radios.
So the medicine that's on there belongs to us if we bought it.
So not all of it.
If the township bought it, the line that belongs to the township.
Correct. Anything that the township has purchased belongs to the township. Yes.
Anything else belongs to Union North Ambulance Service.
Correct.
And we have that list of their equipment that expired, so when they took it off, we replaced it with ours.
Correct. But realistically, we're more concerned about the larger purchases that need to take place. Chad did price out the cost to replace just the supplies
The supplies
And-
and the other hard equipment that
Yep.
would be lost.
is approximately $7,800. The cost for, hang on,
He's got it pulled up,
Chad, if you want to read them off, that would be perfectly fine with me.
the striker.
The power load system, the cot, and the Life Pack 15
Is this
that would
for
be
the,
replaced. To go new, we're looking at 136,823, and that includes the ProCare service, which is the extended warranty. They come in and service them. Same thing you guys used to do with the ambulance service stuff. I would recommend that way. All that equipment's new, but that's just my opinion. The used stuff,
refurbished?
well, yeah. The way it's worded, it's a little, if you read it in the bottom in the comments, it's a little unsure there. You're looking at 486,22, about a $50,000 difference. That also had the ProCare included in it,
For 3 years.
for 3 years. Them quotes expire on 10/7.
So the 136, and change,
823.
823,
Yeah, 136,823.69.
and that's new, and
That's-
the,
All new stuff.
all new. And the, including refurbished is 86,486.
Correct. Now that, according to this, that in the load system and the cot on are new, it would be the heart monitor would be used. So, and it does say used on there. It doesn't say refurbished.
That's coming from that company.
That's from Stryker, correct? Which is who we've
And that
gone
would
with
be-
historically.
The heart monitor would be identical to the ones we currently have.
Right.
The load system and, cot would be very similar. The cot has a few functions that looks like different, but the buttons and controls would be,
Yeah, so the cot that we currently have, they no longer are gonna be servicing, so they've moved to the next level of newest cots that they're doing. It's basically the same, just a few different options. I think the load system's basically the same, maybe has a couple new features. But I don't think it's anything that,
And that getting to the point where they no longer service it thing, that's exactly what happened with the heart monitors a few years ago. It's okay, well, now we don't want you to continue to be able to get these anymore, so
they
you gotta
have,
get new.
they have a new Life Pack out, but I would not recommend switching to it. There's too many bugs with it. So, and it's very expensive.
Could you, say that one more?
They do have a new monitor out. It's a Life Pack 35, but there's too many bugs going on with it right now. There's been multiple departments that are having problems with them. So until that all got worked out, I would not recommend even looking at them, and they're super expensive compared to these.
So this is the Life Pack
15,
15
yeah.
versus the Life Pack
And
35.
the Life Pack 15 is perfectly fine for everything we would be doing now and once the advance comes in.
So age of the monitor in our newer ambulances,
I do
is that 4
not,
years?
So
I don't
that's,
know when
hang
they
on, I've
got
got,
them.
I can pull it up.
3 years ago
4 years?
maybe?
3 or 4, because
Yeah.
I think at that time, we were told the life of them was to be about 10 years.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about the 15s going away, to be truthful with you.
I think some of the concern is trying to match models because as
User
yeah.
capabilities.
if you're trying to go back and forth between ambulances, sorry, I can't read it that way. I'm gonna pull it up and see if there's,
Can Can you send us a copy of that?
Yeah.
Capital asset ledger?
Yep. The,
So whichever way we go there, plus, what was the total of the other software equipment?
7,800.
7,800. And I questioned radios, and my email said, what is your recommendation for new radios? And quote those, please. Well, he replied to the email of what radios he recommended, but didn't give me a dollar amount, so I don't have that number for you. If I had to guess, it's gonna be $5,000, $5 or $6,000. They're dual head radios, so we talked to dispatch and other agencies on the 800 system, but the IHERN, the Indiana Hospital Emergency Room Network, is still on VHF, and so we still have to maintain both systems. And that's a radio in the front for the driver and a radio in the back for the tech to call the hospital. And I guess just on a side note, there was a day a couple weeks ago and we weren't really notified that the 800 system completely went down. So there was no radio communications on the 800 system in this county. So in fact, we went on Amazon that day and bought like 5 new batteries for some of our older VHF portables, just so we can continue to maintain that system. So,
the current heart monitors were purchased in December of '22. So, yeah, three years.
So,
Are you good with used equipment?
I am good with used equipment. I mean, you're gonna get what you buy. It's,
my question about that is related to which ambulance do we anticipate replacing?
It would be the 2016. The one that is going to be remounted would then have the
Remounted,
new equipment.
right, and so that's a 2016
Correct.
ambulance.
Yes,
And so and that's not the one that's gonna have equipment taken out of it, is that correct?
yes, it is.
it is.
no, it is the one.
The 2016, which is the one they're going to be remounting, so then it will theoretically be a 2026
Correct.
ambulance,
Okay,
is the one that we are taking the equipment off of
okay,
as a result of this likely what is going to be the settlement moving
so
forward.
if we're remounting that and we want that to last for 10 years, in my mind, that speaks to I'm not saying how I'm voting right now, I'm just having a discussion here. Perhaps we would want new equipment on the newly remounted ambulance because we want it to last for 10 years. Did I say that correctly?
So what you're doing though is, since that equipment's on our newer ambulance now, no.
So,
So you're gonna mount new equipment in an old ambulance until we get a new ambulance, and then you're gonna pull it out and put it in the other ambulance.
yeah, if this worked out ideally, it would all be taking place at the same time. But I don't see that it's safe or ethical to go 4 months without a backup ambulance or a second ambulance. So,
You had a second call just today.
yeah, we had 2 calls that we covered, both of them today.
2 days in a row.
Yeah.
That's
So-
true.
So they take the equipment out of the 2016, if that's the way the settlement agreement works. Whatever equipment we acquire, whether it's new or refurbed, used, is gonna have to get installed in the old ambulance and then removed in 6 months or whenever
Whenever
it gets
that's taken
scheduled
in.
for the remount. And I'm
And
not
with-
saying that that's a bad thing, whether it's newer equipment or used remanufactured, but it's gonna have to be mounted twice. Do you follow?
Obviously.
But we'd have to get another quote if we had you go back and if we didn't have refurbished.
No, we've got
Oh, I
the
have
new,
both
we've got the
quotes.
new, we've got a new quote and we've got a used quote. So the
Okay.
difference is $50,000. It's $86,000 for the used,
Used equipment.
and it's
36,823.
136,823 to go with the new.
Okay,
And that's that's the heart monitor. So the cot and the load system would be new with either of them, according to this.
I read that, but then I looked at price and I don't believe that's 100% correct. But I guess I would have to get clarification on that from Patrick.
Look,
I wanna say the RMA may be remanufactured,
okay.
or would that be one of their ProCare things that came back?
It says RMA, new, not used, Power Pro, so I don't know.
But when you compare the pricing on it, there's a $12,000 difference in per
There is.
item.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe that's just like them were set aside for their ProCare stuff that they never went on something.
Right. And they're just sitting on old stock that they
Right.
want to get rid of.
I mean, I don't have a preference either way, I guess. I mean, the new,
That does come-
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was the next question here. Feeling.
Personally, I don't like the ideas of used monitors because but the thing is it's gonna be gone through and all the cabling's gonna be new, so I mean, it should be fine. Most of them are coming off the ProCare. I mean, I would rather see the new one, but I don't know that there's,
And the one concern is you don't know where it came from. If it came from another department like us that doesn't run 10,000 calls a year, or if it come from an ambulance like Plymouth or South Bend that's running call after call after call, then it's getting used a lot more. But there's no way to know that. So,
But with a 2-year warranty on that,
3.
3-year, yeah.
ProCare's 3-year and it covers the life pack, the patient.
Annual parts, labor, travel, repairs, and repair parts and battery coverage.
And you're paying a pretty penny for that. And that's 3 years. And the way
So
it
the-
reads, I don't know, it says quotes include 3 years of ProCare service in addition to product warranty, so there's evidently some warranty underneath there. So
Yeah, it looks like the warranty is maybe in,
we use probably just fine. Other than-
yeah, the ProCare costs,
other than-
the total is $15,000 for that.
The what?
The ProCare, the getting the warranty and the service and all of those things cost $15,000. That's included in that price,
Per year?
total.
No, that's
Five.
That's total.
5 to something per year
Yep.
for 3 years.
keeps things a little.
I do know that in the history of those, John has been pretty impressed with their service and that ProCare.
He said they call and they'll be
Yeah.
out next day
Yeah,
working on it.
ProCare puts you on top of the list anytime you have a problem.
And full disclosure, the load system, not a requirement. You have a cot in there, you don't have to pay for the load system. It's that when you think about loading a patient into an ambulance, you've got the cost or the weight of the cot itself, and then the weight of the patient, and you're asking the EMTs and the firefighters to manhandle that in there. This is beneficial for
Insurance claims.
Workman's comp
So,
alone.
Yeah,
right,
I just want to make sure it's on the record that it's not a requirement, it's,
I would just ask that when you, as you prepare for the territory meeting, that maybe you could have a handout prepared for the committee members and that compares new and
which I'll print out a copy for each of you before you leave as well. My question for you would be, do you want me to move forward with what the territory board recommends? Or would you prefer to have another meeting to take action on what they recommend?
When's our next scheduled meeting?
Thank you, Chad. September 24th. I don't know when this settlement takes effect, what date they're going to be given to do, like, the turnover. Because we will be losing the equipment at that time. This isn't going to be a, we're okay until we have our new equipment in hand.
I have a funny feeling inside about the prospect of ordering equipment when a court hasn't even issued a settlement
Court wouldn't be issuing a settlement.
or.
It would be between the parties. And as I understand it, an agreement has been reached. It's just a matter of ironing out the physical agreement.
Well, I don't think we wanna,
But
we don't wanna
I don't
order it
want-
until
no.
we see official notice.
Correct.
We just, if they give us an official notice 2 days after a territory meeting that we're losing this equipment the following Monday,
So if they give a notice, would it be worth a call to Union to see if they want to sell it for a certain amount? I think we should make that call. That's gonna save us a lot of time. Knowing what the costs are here and knowing what we've got,
Right.
I would say if they reach a settlement, whatever that is between them, let's say, hey, you know, we might be willing to give you X if.
I like that idea.
And we may not know what the terms of that settlement are, which, you know, but we know what we have to work with here for new versus used, so we could do something, you know. And we know what it's like, who's been using it, the care that's been given, so.
Would that be,
yeah, I'd be happy with that. I mean, we've been using it.
okay,
Thank you.
What parameters would you want that offer to be made? Because they're going to ask, well, what are you willing to pay for it? I need,
I didn't quite hear that.
when we make that inquiry of whether or not they're interested in selling the equipment to North,
as is.
correct? What dollar amount range are you wanting me to put out there? Because they're going to ask, what are you willing to pay for it? I can't just operate.
So,
What would you guys think? You guys-
well, and that's what I was just gonna say. So the refurb price is 86, and that's got $15,000 worth of ProCure added in it. So it,
30 grand for it.
So if you take 86,000 minus 15, just to start,
71.
put you at 70,000. And you also need to take into account that this is a brand-new load system and brand-new cot versus those cots they're past ProCure time, they're 10 years old.
You're not maintaining them anymore either.
Yeah, so-
Because Walkerton has the same one.
So I would say, I think Chad's probably right, 30 or maybe 40,000 tops.
40 is too high.
35,
I wouldn't offer more than 30.
30?
That's just my opinion. If it was me.
You might ask them for an amount,
Well, of course.
and then see what it is, and then at that point, we may have to have a session towards it. But then again, I don't know.
Is this giving you what you want though?
It
I think it's
maintains
6
two
of one.
ambulances.
So we're using what we already have. So if you're thinking remanufactured, then maybe I would say that this is as good of an option, only saving us money. If you guys have in the back of your mind that it's gonna put new equipment in a remounted ambulance for the next 10 years, those monitors might not last 10 years. They might go out of service in another 6 years, and we might be coming back to you guys saying, they will not service these anymore. They're 3 years past the procure that Stryker will maintain them, and it's time to spend another $80,000 or $100,000 on 2 monitors, because unfortunately, that's what they cost.
So he's saying now that the new one he wouldn't recommend, so that pushes us towards the used anyway.
Well, that could be a whole different
It's a-
discussion in 4, 5, 6 years.
The new 35, they're still making 15s.
Okay,
The 35 is the new one.
okay.
It's just a newer model.
It's a newer model, and Walkerton's got one, and it's been troublesome.
Okay.
But it's brand new.
But it's brand new. So, I mean, I think once they get the bugs worked out of it, it'll be a great monitor. It's just until then, just like buying a new car when it first comes off the assembly line, it's brand new, there's always them bugs that's gotta get worked out of it. Same difference. I just don't think it's the right time. And if we're gonna make that move, I would suggest 2 of them, because having 2 different ones in each ambulance is just asking for problems.
And it's not bad when you've got a lady that has a ground level fall and maybe some chest pain, you're on a 12 lead, but if you're working a full arrest and you're hyper and you're worked up and there's 4 people back there all talking at the same time, trying to find the right buttons to push can be difficult.
When you're on 2 different monitors
Correct.
and trying to go back and forth between ambulances.
Right.
My biggest concern in the whole thing is just trying to limit our time, cut our time down without the use of an ambulance as little as possible. So whether it's, you guys agree on a dollar amount now that if they'll accept this, we'll do that, or if you'll go with the township's recommendation, or the territory board's recommendation rather. And they might, maybe the township board feels the same way.
Territory
Board will feel the same way. We'll make this offer, but they've got 48 hours to make a decision, because we can't be going without an ambulance for any more time than, and it might take us 20 or 30 days to get this anyway.
Oh,
When I talked to him in July, he said we could have something within 2 weeks.
2 weeks,
So
So any agreement typically gives you a specified period of time to produce or to get that. And so it's not like you have an agreement and the next day we send that equipment up to Lakeville.
I'll bet you it's gonna be something like that.
It's gonna be quick.
Union Township's gonna say, we'll take this settlement, but we have to have the equipment within 5 days.
So I think I would support Chad's recommendation of $30,000. When you consider it's 86 for completely refurbished equipment, and the 15, what was the 15 referring to?
3 years of ProCare, the extended warranty service plan.
The other thing that we need to take into consideration is all the time that's gonna take to take it out and put something else in. If we get something put in, who's gonna install it?
Stryker will.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But who's taking out that equipment? I think that would be us, right?
Stryker will.
Strike,
The ambulance service will be responsible to that.
the ambulance service would take it out, okay.
They technically own that equipment.
So I support Chad's idea of 30. If we could get something like that, then I would be supportive of that.
And if they are not interested in entertaining that, you want to just have another meeting?
Or do you wanna have Plan B installed?
Or do we want to have,
I think it's gonna get too messy, and if we need to call an emergency meeting, I'd rather have a meeting to address that. I would support what the territory is saying, but it's just one agenda item, and I know you're getting busy. It's like, when's your date that you start?
October 1st?
October 1st, so,
And I'm,
pardon me?
should I say on,
I don't care.
I'm gonna be out of town for a week and a half in September.
Okay, sure. Yeah, and I absolutely wanna respect those things. But I feel uncomfortable having the various contingencies in place. I mean, if we wanna vote on the authorizing you to go up to $30,000, I feel comfortable with that. But not knowing what the territory board is gonna say, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with just saying whatever they decide.
So your offer tonight's public knowledge anyway, so, but I think it would be good to ask them if they would be interested in providing a price to us, if we would keep it, and then if it's meets that guideline, then let's go with it. I guess that my motion would be up to $30,000 if they're interested in selling to us, and if not, we would have to have a special meeting.
And
I'll
that's,
second that motion.
sorry,
No, go ahead.
Anything else to that?
Go ahead.
No.
and that's the 3 items, right? The monitor, the cot, and the load system?
And supplies, whatever supplies that they say belong to them, whatever that is. Wouldn't there,
Well, so to replace that, you're adding on another $7,000 or $8,000 worth of equipment. That's why I'm asking. So
So what supplies, tell me, would that be?
Beaten about
everything that it takes to run an ambulance, from
115 different items.
bandaging equipment to airway supplies
But
to,
that wasn't on there when we got it. We bought it.
no, the ambulance service had the ambulances stocked.
When we brought it down here, it was not stocked.
No, but they stocked it.
They stocked it with equipment, and then one of them, we paid for all the equipment to put on.
But Union Township didn't stock it. The ambulance service stocked it,
Correct,
right?
correct. But if they're offering in that settlement to give all that equipment to Union Township, I'm just wanting you guys to clarify, you're wanting us to attempt to purchase for that dollar amount, the 3 items, the monitor, the cot, and the load system.
Yeah.
Or maybe you guys aren't, maybe that's not your thought, I just wanted to clarify that.
I thought it was the whole shebang, but I could be
Yeah, I
wrong.
did too.
I thought it was.
I thought you were only talking about the 3 items.
No, I was
The
talking
three-
the whole shebang,
the three
as is.
Because all you asked about was the quote for the 3 items that we were talking about.
Sorry.
No, you're fine,
So,
that's why I wanted
that's
that.
why
So if you get it
That dollar
for, if you get it for 30, the $7,000 still would be a lot less than the 86.
For sure,
What
Just
about
a
radios?
thought.
As is,
I'm
so
sorry?
it would
You
be
said
like,
radios too, that they're gonna want that if that's what they asked for.
yeah, I guess that should be addressed. And I have not seen an official list of this is the equipment that's included in this. I know Emily got a phone call from John that basically said the attorneys had reached some kind of an agreement and paperwork was in the works. I don't know what that list of equipment entails. I know when it was originally done, the radios were included in that because the ambulance service owned the radios, not the townships. what their agreement is no business of mine. I'm just trying to make sure that my citizens are covered the best I.
So without seeing that, we couldn't make an offer on those extra items, but we could on these three.
Right.
So,
That's why I was asking, just so when you guys make a motion, and Emily's gonna need to know what she's offering money for, so.
Yeah. 3 items. Glad you said that.
I had asked what they were offering money for, because Chad and I took it as it was the 3 items from Stryker that we were talking about.
Okay,
And I think they were kind of under the impression that it was the whole shebang, the radios and the equipment and everything, so.
okay.
I don't know that they made a decision yet,
Okay,
on which
no,
way
that's
we were
fine.
gonna offer for,
I
but
can,
What do you think, Steve?
so my motion was based upon the 3 items,
okay.
okay? So if I need to rescind the motion, I can do that. When you second that, was that under the same impression? Or was you thinking the whole thing?
I was thinking the whole thing,
Okay.
but,
Yeah, we were.
So I'll go ahead and rescind my motion.
Okay.
but what would it take, from what we have out there, what would it take to get us, keep us on the road? Supplies are just a few $1,000s really, but,
so the supplies was
That was the 7,800 that I mentioned earlier in the
7,800.
conversation.
7,800.
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, and that's going off of the list of required equipment by the state, that's just what's required to be on there.
and so, the power lift cot, 15, I think,
The cot and load system and the monitor as a whole was the
86.
86,000, that's the refurb ones. And then if I had to throw a number out, I'm gonna say somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 for the radio installed. I could be way off. I know the portables alone are $3,500
A piece.
for this.
What if we offered 40,000 for everything they think belongs to them? Is that way off base, or is that?
So one variable there is that equipment's going to be basically new. So there could be equipment on there could expire in 4 months or 6 months. Some of that soft equipment, the bandaging equipment, the airways and things, those get checked for expiration date the first of every month. So I don't know that you're way out of line there.
Because I just want to, as seamless as we can get, and just, I would just move that we offer them up to $40,000 for everything they think that belongs to them on that ambulance, to provide as seamless a transition as possible with the less expensive option.
So the motion's been made for $40,000 with those stipulations. I would entertain a second.
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion?
Am I missing something? Is that?
I think the only thing that I would bear in mind is that I believe that they are having that installed on the other ambulance that is up there. So I believe that their intention is to get an ambulance up and running in Union Township. So do I foresee this having a positive outcome? I'm not super hopeful. I mean, I absolutely think that that would make things so much simpler in terms of seamlessness. I just, whether or not it will be accepted, I don't know.
Well, I guess I look at it as.
We may as well
part of our
try.
due diligence.
Absolutely.
We're making in a town.
Yep.
So,
So if that's turned down, then we know we need to have a meeting pronto, if possible. Okay, all in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, 3-0.
Thank you.
Okay, and then on the back side of the agenda, I have my update of where we are in the year, in terms of receipts and disbursements, current balances. We're at 64% of the year. Township expenditures, we've spent 45% of the budget. Fire is at 29% of the budget. Township assistance is at 17% of the budget. 18 requests for township assistance, 2 for mortgage and rent, 14 for utilities, and 2 for cremation. Of the 18 applications, 15 were approved, 3 were denied. 26 adults and 10 children were helped between the households. Any questions about any of that? Okay, I will move on to good order of the order. I'm done on my, on my side.
I don't,
Oh, sure.
do you have ending balance of 12/31/25?
That's just because that's the way that the spreadsheet is set up. It automatically pulls the last, but that is current balance as of today is, yep, yes. Mhm.
Oh, I see.
I don't think I have anything.
Really,
I'm sorry?
it's that instructor class.
We've got 2 classes scheduled here for the fall and early winter or midwinter, I guess, but I don't think I have anything for good of the order.
So the SCBA's are fully operational?
We've had one classroom training with them. We have another training coming up, and I believe the salesman's actually supposed to be here to go through them with a fine tooth comb. And then we will start integrating them into the trucks. We don't have them on trucks yet because we don't have enough people gone through them yet.
SCBA?
I'm sorry, self-contained breathing apparatus, the air packs that we breathe with a mask and tank on our back for going to fires or hazmat scenes or decomp bodies, things like that.
They helped us with
So,
September 2nd is when we go in front of the commissioners.
September 2nd.
Yes.
at 9:30?
8:30.
8:30?
8:30?
I think it's usually 8:30.
We're on the agenda to make that presentation and all the paperwork.
So that's Tuesday.
Correct. Yes,
Usually it's
since
on Monday.
Monday is a holiday.
Any update on your hiring?
I've advertised it. I've got some interest. I've got one application that I just got today, as a matter of fact. So we'll see how it turns out.
You had someone that was going to be finishing up.
He took a second attempt at his test and did not pass yet. He's got one more attempt to take it, and we'll see how that turns out. So, we did have one firefighter. Kevin Fakes had been struggling, and he had to do remedial training, but he finally did pass his National Registry EMT test, so.
And Chad is currently in advanced EMT class.
So we're busy.
So Nicole, what was the role of the council in the $50,000 grant thing for the fire department? Did they play a part in that?
We completely set it up. I sat on that subject and set it up.
Well, I want to express my thanks to you for that. That's going to be very helpful.
We're hoping to continue it next year. But we have to cut $4 million from our budget, so we'll see what happens, I'm not sure yet.
Is that because of like the Senate Bill 1 is pushing that?
Well, and we take all of our department head budgets and pours into our budget. I've got, I think, 86 pages of the budget, some stuff we can touch is general fund, other stuff is just set things. But our guesstimate right now, we're still waiting on final from the state, but our guesstimate is about $4 million that we need to cut. We only cut about 1.5 last year. So some of the stuff there's crossover because some of our department heads put things in 2 different funds to let us decide where we wanna put it. And we need to dig in and really see what that looks like yet. And I've gone through the budget twice now, but I haven't started penciling in my thoughts yet. And then typically what happens in years past is groups of 3 of us get together and bounce ideas off of each other. I actually have a meeting with our auditor and first deputy tomorrow because they work with our budgets all year long just to get their take and ideas and thoughts as well, so.
Would it be in the relatively near future, if you guys know that this is something we're going to have to cut, that we'll know that?
Our next meeting is September 8th,
Okay,
and that's a 9 AM meeting.
and you think it would probably be something that would be discussed?
Go through and just like start, yes,
Okay.
that's what our cuts are. But I think there's gonna be a fight.
I didn't catch the last 3 words.
I think there's gonna be a push to keep it, if possible.
Thank you.
Well, it's gonna support, it did support, at least the special projects of that portion supported some mental health training for all the first responders in this county that's scheduled and coming up, so that's something that wouldn't happen without that funding.
One of the other things that was just recently approved by the commissioners is there's now 2 drones available. They're purchasing 2 drones, they're gonna keep them at Plymouth. I have mixed feelings about the whole thing, but the commissioners approved it. And their goal is to have 1 person from each department with their aviation license, so that they can fly those when necessary, but they're gonna be housed at the Plymouth department.
So when
that
they're
was one of the things
missing
that got
individuals and things like that, drones can be sent up to an accident reconstructions and
Right,
those
trip
types of
fire,
things.
you know, like, you gotta be able to get it from Plymouth, you know? But also, do you know that, we have, I think 4 or 5 in the sheriff's department, and a lot of those are in the cars, plugged in, ready to go, so, there's a chance that if you can't get it from Plymouth, you could use one of the sheriff's departments as well.
Thank you. One question for you. We talked one time about the maple leaf conversion thing and the opening and whatever. Did you check that to see that that's adequate to get a truck through?
We've been in there on calls a couple times since you and I discussed that, so,
Okay.
yep, we can get in there. It is tight, but it's,
Okay. My other question is, it appears that they have some kind of a gate mechanism, either in place or planned. And I'm wondering if that's closed. I'm just wondering, I don't know if the county has any kind of emergency plan for gated communities, but it looks like it's becoming a gated community or will be.
I think
And how do you get in with those?
Typically those
they'll give it to
facilities
the
will-
dispatch centers.
I'm sorry?
Typically, the dispatch centers will get a gate code for them once they put a gate in like that.
But for example, if you guys have a call here at Garden Court and there are certain codes that are needed,
we
then
have keys for
We
that.
have a
They have
knock
keys.
box and keys for that, so.
Oh.
There's a gate to drive behind LaVille Elementary School. So if you go in and you make the left-hand turn to go up the front, the one to go to the back playground is supposed to be siren activated. I have yet to see it work in about 3 years. And every time I go up there with a fire truck, whether it's for a medical call or whatever, I always go test it and it never opens. And I always let Kevin know that it doesn't open, but
I will tell you, the commissioner's proposal that the commissioners saw with that proposal, it was.
was it gated?
Yes, it's advertised as a gated community.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
the school did officially ask us to have an ambulance stand by their home football games.
At the high school.
So we'll see how well that plays out. Friday night was night 1 and didn't go perfect, but went all right.
So that's just varsity, or,
All we were asked for, yeah.
Generally, that's the only thing they've ever asked for in the past was varsity games. So,
thank you.
Yep.
That's all I got.
Public comment?
No.
Nicole's the loss for words. Okay,
I appreciate you coming in.
yeah, thank you.
A lot of times I have other meetings on the same night, so I'm not able to come, but tonight I was free.
Where did I write down the next meeting date?
September 24th, but I will be in touch if we need a special meeting
Sure.
in the near future.
Where can we watch the recording? Is that
YouTube.
available? It's on YouTube.
If you look up North Township Marshall Co. on YouTube, if you go to the website, when I list the meetings, there's also a direct link on there.
So if I can't make it, I can always jump
Yep.
on and watch.
Yep.
Because people ask me, and if I'm not
There's
here, I
one on the
don't know what's
agenda.
going on.
The link's on the agenda.
Yeah, it's not the most friendly of links, unfortunately. I'm trying to figure out a way to,
Okay.
but yeah, the website is the easiest way, I think, to route to it.
There used to be a thing called Bitly. I'm sure there's shorteners.
That's true.
And you can use
yeah.
a shortener, that's just an option.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be helpful on like the sign out front for people who view that.
Yeah.
It might
But I
be.
think every time you do it, your Bitly may change, but that was a
Yeah, I
long-
change it on the agenda
Yeah, so
every
That's a
time.
long time ago, there may be a shortener now where you could create your
Own custom
or
one that
QR
link.
code. I know you can create free QR codes,
That's actually a really good idea.
yeah.
Do a QR
Which wouldn't
code.
necessarily be helpful if they're looking at it on their phone, but like.
But they could come up here
Or
and
they could-
scan it and yeah, that's a really good idea. Thank you.
Create those, that was I can't remember, Monkey.
There are all kinds of QR
Monkey
code
something. A lot of them
creators.
will make you think they're free, but then when you dig in, they're not, but there's one that's Monkey something,
Yeah.
that is absolutely free.
Yeah, I've used them for my business, so, yep, thank you.
I've got a motion to adjourn,
Second.
and a second. All in favor, is aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you.